Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to some Evolution Cup. Today I'm going to be showcasing another very strong run I've made in this cup. I've made it all the way up to 3350 ELO. This is by far the highest ELO I've ever had. I think up until last season my highest ELO was 3100. I made an absolutely massive climb with this team. It's the same team I hit Legend with. Daddy Dustclops in the lead, Vigoroth and Piloswine as the closer. Daddy Dustclops, and the reason I want to showcase this Pokemon and talk about it, it's just because it's exceptionally good. It is so good in this cup. There's basically no hard counter to this Pokemon. In the zeros, Vigoroth just about wins. And of course there are some Pokemon that can beat Dustclops. However, you're not going to leave any matchup in this cup without a shield, or switch advantage basically. Dustclops super good. As you guys know, I like to YOLO the poltergeists on things, and basically get a shield advantage for the Piloswine. So that's basically been the strats with this team, and it has continued to work very, very well. I hit Legend on Go Battle Day, and I made it all the way up to 3250 yesterday, all the way up to 3354. Today's question of the day is, guys, by the way, it's a no shame zone here. I want you guys to know that, like, I am super proud of this achievement because it was only like 4 or 5 seasons ago that I was just starting to play this game. I had a long sort of learning curve. It took me a long time to learn a lot of things in this game. I struggled to hit Legend every season, trying to hit Legend in the Catch Cup, really sweating it out every season till the very last day to try and hit Legend. But it feels very nice that this season I was able to hit leaderboards once at the beginning, getting top 150. I had a very, very rough period throughout the middle of the season, as you guys know. Tanked from Legend, basically 2997, all the way down, and we're all the way back up again, so feels good. Let me know in the comment section down below how it's going for you this season and what your highest ever ELO is. Guys, I want to say a big shout out and thank you to our members and channel supporters here. Arian, Daryl, Donovan, Boston, Nate, Ahmad, Vitor, and everybody else who supports the channel. Very much appreciated, guys. If you do want to become a member, I do offer coaching and stuff as part of our membership, so feel free to check it out and let me know what you think. Yeah, so we're going to hop into these battles here. If you want to use this team to try and hit Legend, like I said, I can't recommend it enough. I just think even if people know what this team just performs so well that unless they're completely hard countering you, like let's say for example something in the lead that's pretty neutral with Dustclops and Vigoroth and Primeape in the back, yeah, you know what, might be a little bit tricky, right? You have a lot of work to do, but definitely things like Crocalor can be quite difficult for this team, but by and large most teams are very, very manageable, and a lot of teams are just ABA weak to Ice, which is why I've really liked Piloswine and of course Ice Punch coverage on the Dustclops. Anyway guys, the opponent's using a non-shadow. I can live a move, but of course we're going to basically get to these moves pretty quickly here. I can go for a nice little over farm. I do hard commit to this farm down, and I should have just thrown the move. This was a little bit stupid by me here. I do make some mistakes in these battles, but I just didn't want the opponent to get energy, and the opponent actually comes into a Graveler, so this is super, super lucky. I should have just threw the Avalanche, and then I would have had an Avalanche ready for this thing. Basically, we go for a very nice catch here on the Dustclops. The opponent's basically forced to throw at this point. They go for a nice undercharge here, and puts them into basically one counter range. We counter them the whole way down, back in comes Togetic, and at that point, even though we made a huge mistake in that match, I still managed to turn it around. So good games well played to the opponent there, and hopping into the next one we have a Matang lead, quite an interesting one. Very good lead for us, and they swap into a Dragonair, which is not exactly a very good counter swap. One Ice Punch doesn't KO this thing, but it gets so low that they wouldn't really want to let it go. I'm happy enough basically to pry away both shields here if I can, and will most likely come into Vigoroth here. By the way guys, I'm making an effort not to like talk too fast today, because some people do mention that I do talk quite fast, and yeah, I think I do sort of prefer the more calm commentaries here, to be honest. Let me know what you prefer in the comments, and guys, if you haven't already, you can see it on screen here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you do enjoy. Piloswine here coming in. We're actually calling it Piloswine today, which is great, not Mamoswine. They come back in with this thing, and I'm like, yo, please get to it, please get to it. The opponent goes for a really nice catch on fucking Chansey, bro. Of all things they could catch it on, Chansey. But this should be curtains for them. Basically what I'm going to do is bank the high horsepower if I can. I'm afraid of him getting to the move, so I am unfortunately going to have to throw this off. I'm going to keep over farming, try to bank it. Okay, we banked the high horsepower. We can go into Vigoroth now at this point. The opponent will make it out of here at some point because I've misaligned the switch clock so much. But bro, like, why are you using Chansey? Come on. Have some fun in this cup. Use Daddy Dustclops, Vigoroth, and Piloswine, not this piece of shit. Back in comes the Matang. And yeah, basically this is going to be kind of tricky because we do have Dustclops, but we do need to still high horsepower this most likely. I think maybe I could have, yeah, no, I definitely need a high horsepower. So it is a good thing that we banked that move. And yeah, it's basically Dustclops versus Chansey, which not exactly too favorable. However, we have got it quite low. I should hopefully be able to get to 2 charge moves here, and like, is it even enough? These hexes are adding health to the Chansey at this point. Look at that. Done absolutely nothing. The opponent's definitely going to get to a move. They're probably in Hyper Beam and some sort of other move, but we should still be fine, unless the opponent gets the debuff. Oh my goodness. I said I was going to stay calm in this video. We're getting psychic debuff by the Chansey, but we do make it on 1 HP. Get this absolute garbage out of here. Good games all played, we just about make it, and yeah, definitely very happy to not lose that one. You know, I was happier not to lose more than I was happier to win that one. So now we're going to see this team play out a little bit. I like to stay in here against Vigoroth because, generally speaking, like, this is probably my best answer to it. I've got my own Vigoroth, I've got Piloswine. Of course, Vigoroth does very well into Pilo, so if I can keep a Vigoroth on my own Vigoroth, or this Pokemon right here, I'm very, very happy with it. Vigoroth, if I can just get rid of it, right? Generally what happens, if you have the same IVs as me, let's say, I have a slightly attack-weighted one, so maybe if you have more bulk, it's maybe a little bit better for you. Normally what happens here is they get down to the deep red, and they get off a Rock Slide here, and another Body Slam before I get to the next Ice Punch, and that basically is enough to KO. They should be coming out of here with like 2 or 3 counters, so sometimes, depending on the IVs on their Vigoroth, they can get off a further Body Slam. That one's got pretty bad IVs, so don't get it off. Now typically in this matchup here, I don't necessarily like baiting it, and typically in Vigoroth teams they have 2 Pokemon that are weak to Mamo in the back. There we go, we're calling it Mamo. I decided not to go for the bait here. If I can get shields down for the Pilo, I'm fairly satisfied at this point. I go for a CMP tie, that's perfectly fine. The Golbat here is 1 foot in the grave already, so we can basically look to farm it down, and they come in with their own Pilo. Now guys, I want you to notice something here. I get to this move first. Whenever the opponent swaps, it's a 1-turn swap, which means that they're 1 turn behind you, and I can basically reach the charge attacks 1 turn ahead of them. So what I need to do is throw my charge attack first, so that they don't catch up and throw their charge attack, which basically resets the turn difference, right? The opponent basically realizes that in top left. Good games to them. A little bit unfortunate for them, it just so happened to be that I had a Piloswine, and they had the 1 turn bring in, so definitely good of me to throw the first move. The only way you can sort of try to get out of that is to try and CMP on the second move. So what the opponent could have done was overfarm to back-to-back avalanches and try to CMP me. If they win CMP, that'll basically deny me 1 Powder Snow. So if you think about it right, whenever I throw my charge attack, they done the extra Powder Snow, and then if they do another 6, that means I'm only getting 6, but they got the extra the first time around, so that means the energy's level. That's the only way to come back from that. Unfortunately, the opponent wasn't able to do that. Well, fortunately for us, they weren't able to do it, and they obviously decided just to top left. This matchup here, we had a Charjabug lead, and the opponent swaps into their Vigoroth. I'm basically happy with that. If they ever swap into Vigoroth, you just chip it with the Ice Punch and then go your own. I don't really care about swap here. I'm going to go for a very, very nasty Hex down. The opponent does make it to another Body Slam. Of course, that's not going to threaten our health too much. That's going to put us in a position where we can absolutely YOLO the move. Now, I do 1 and throw even though I was on 100 energy. If the opponent is using a turn duration that is lower than yours, just throw the move instantly, because that means they get like basically 2 moves instead of 1. But if they're using a 4 turn and you've got a 3 turn or a 2 turn or a 1 turn, you just you know, put the lower amount into the 4 turn move, if that makes sense. What doesn't make sense is there's a Gothita or Gothorita, Gothatelio. What is this Pokemon? What is it? What is this thing doing? Hello? Alright, we're gonna hex it down. We're gonna hex it. Okay, no, we're not. Alright, GG. I was not expecting that, but that was quite a cool pick. So we did go 3-2 here. I believe I started off the video here at 26:54. So yeah, first set of the day, very, very happy with that. Nice little 3-2 to sort of get us kicked off for the day. And hopping on into the next battle, we do have a Charjabug lead once again. I'm not a huge fan of this. This is a very like bait dependent matchup. If you can land the nuke, it just goes for you right. But I had pretty bad luck with this. Anytime I baited the no shielded, anytime I YOLO'd the Poltergeist, like I went for the bait last time, they called it. I go for the Poltergeist this time and the shielded. It is what it is, right? What you can do here is start settling for Ice Punches after a while. I believe mine lives us on 1 HP. I cannot do 1 and throw, because if I do 1 and throw, basically what will happen is their damage will apply on the 3rd turn, which would mean that I wouldn't get off my charge attack. We go for the Ice Punch and dip here, that's perfectly good. We'll come into our own Vigoroth. And I decide here, with this Pokemon in the back, I need to try to get shields down. So I'm sort of happy here just to basically no shield this, counter this the whole way down, and I'm going to go for an aggressive Powder Snow down with the Pilo. In the 1-to-1 shields, with like a free Powder Snow energy lead, this thing can beat almost anything. Back in comes Charjabug. The opponent obviously doesn't have a great answer to this. So I decide, okay, we'll invest the shield nice and early here, and the opponent comes into a Dusclops. Now this Dusclops right here, as you can see, is purified. Oftentimes when purified, it means they're using Return. Return, quite a hard-hitting move, and will most likely look to one-shot the Pilo. From full health it wouldn't do so, but of course we're getting very, very low here. The opponent's going to YOLO off the Return here most likely. Yep, boom, absolutely takes us out. Now I do have a lot of energy here, so I do go for a 1 and throw in good timing. Now I basically need to farm this the whole way down. The opponent will not get to another move. I'm going to go for a 1 and throw for good timing. If the opponent's using a 4 turn move, you can do 1 counter and not receive the damage from the move. But as you seen in that situation earlier, had we done one Hex and further move, unfortunately that would have taken us out, so something to keep in mind there. The damage applies basically 1 turn before the turn ends. So on a 1 turn move, damage applies instantly. On a 2 turn move, it applies after 1. On a 3 turn move, after 2. 4 is free, and 5 is 4. In comes Dragonair. They actually let that move go. I hated that. I absolutely hated that. Generally speaking, guys, Dragonair lead is very good for this team, but when they start letting moves go, it makes it very awkward, because normally you get a bunch of shields down with the Dragonair, Paloswine sweeps, and that's good games. Even with this in the back, you go for 1 high horsepower and it takes it out. That's why I'm using high horsepower over Stone Age. There are some Pokemon that cannot be one-shot by Avalanche, but can be one-shot by high horsepower. Typically, my strategy is to get shields down and sweep with Pylo up a shield, and if I'm able to do that, high horsepower just does that little bit extra damage, which does make a big difference sometimes. So I decided to let this move go. I'm like, please don't be cross-chop, I need to keep a shield here. The opponent does get off 2 moves, and I thought, you know, they're probably going to go for a boost or whatever here, so I might as well shield up the first one, just in case they get the boost. And it's like, you know what, if you've got cross-chop, you know, just unlucky for me, I guess. The opponent comes into a Charge-a-Bug. The opponent wasn't able to get to a move or anything, of course, and we're going to go for this Avalanche on the Charge-a-Bug. This is one match where having Stone Age would be quite nice, but we actually survived 2 X-Scissors from this thing, so that's a very comfortable live. Having the one-shot capability of Stone Age is nice, but more often than not, you powder snow them into Avalanche range anyway, so it's not really that relevant. And in the next match, we have the Nightmare lead. Crocalor basically runs for my entire team. Now, I'm almost forced to either YOLO the nuke or go for the bait here. The opponent farms up to 4 Incinerates, which is very good timing there. 20 turns into my 21. 3 times 7 is 21, right? And they do 4 Incinerates, which is 20. They shield up the move, so it's like, oof, this is rough. I do get off a last second Ice Punch, and I'm pretty much just hoping here that my Vigoroth can do a ton of work. My Vigoroth needs to do a ton of work, because typically, this is their own Vigoroth in the back. This team is very, very hard for me to beat. So I decided, okay, it's going to be Crunch. We'll let the first one go. Hopefully they don't get the debuff, they do not, and they're going to fire off another charge move. Now, if I have to double shield here, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I need to come out of here with a bunch of energy. The opponent gets off yet another move, and I'm just praying, please no debuff. I just need this not to debuff. Luckily enough, we make it for a couple, and we farm it the whole way down. The opponent comes into a Primeape, and this is still looking tricky. We still need to get rid of this thing. Body Slam number 1, Body Slam number 2. If the opponent lets us go, we actually do have a chance. They do let it go, and we come in for the Powder Snow down. The opponent comes into a Hakmo-O. Now, the great thing about this is, we absolutely live a move. And because it was on the swap, it's a little bit more difficult to do good move timing. We do get an extra Powder Snow. We go for a 1 and fro on this right here. And the opponent is still 2 Dragon Tails off the move. We're going to go for a 2 and fro on this Avalanche, which will of course take them out. The Primeape, 1 foot in the grave here. We can just basically Powder Snow it down. I think we even survived the count. Oh no, it's a Simul KO. But that was a very tricky team. It was fortunate that we got that extra energy on the Vigoroth, and very fortunate that they let the Body Slams go. I guess they knew we had a ton of energy, and they're probably expecting that like I have some sort of an answer to that. Luckily for me, they do let that go, and that's a good game. That's what can happen at times. You do make a team raid. They were putting it all on their back Pokemon. Just unfortunately, it was the wrong call for them in that situation. But Ice Punch coming through. This is why we like Dragonairs. We just prize shields away. The opponent lets that second move go. They can live 1, and I generally do like to come in for the counter down. They do get off a dying Aqua Tail here, and it's going to put us into very low range. They come in with Primeape. It's absolutely amazing that we swapped out here, because we do need Daddy Dusclops to do some work here. The opponent lets that move go through, but they counter us the entire way down. I decide here to come into Dusclops just in case they have like Cross Chop or something, and basically look to absorb the energy. We live the move, and we're most likely going to go for an aggressive Powder Snow down here. They do actually go for Ice Punch, not an Ice Slash, so they must have some sort of fighting move, which is a little bit scary considering I've got a Paloswine in the back. They come into a Kanto Graveler, which does take super effective damage here. They do outpace me to the move, and I think what I need to do, so the opponent left, basically they done one Ice Punch, and I think they farmed up a little bit extra, so they're going to be 1 off the move. So I'm going to farm up to back-to-back moves. I believe it takes 8 Rock Throws to get to each Rock Blast, so we just make sure we come out with the move, make sure they can't take us out, and that's good games well played. So in that situation there, it's good to sort of know that you're on track with energy. Of course I'm just commenting over this as a video, but we're up to 33 or 38 after that set. So I sort of forget what would happen, but at the time I knew exactly what the energy was, and I knew that I had to come out with the moves. Now, Charge-a-Bug lead, we've seen it once, we've seen it 3 times in fact, this is the 3rd time. The first time, they let the bait go. The second time, they shielded the Poltergeist. What's going to happen the 3rd time around? We're going to go for the Ice Punch bait. By the way guys, even if they let this go, I do generally think this is the safer play. I think getting guaranteed damage on this Pokemon, you know, while hitting the Poltergeist is nice, getting to guaranteed damage is very, very nice here, because as you guys have seen before, pretty consistently we live this next move, Discharge coming through, and by the looks of things, they actually have a very good Charger that's done a little bit less damage than before. And we chip it, we go into Vigorove. This is exactly what we want here. Now, in this middle game matchup, I do like to try to start getting shields down, because Piloswine with 2 shields up on the opponent's side, it's not really that good. So I'd rather shield up Vigorove and either get off charge moves and whatever comes in, get a shield off them potentially, or just get a shield down on this matchup and basically look to sweep it with Pylo. Now, I deliberately let the opponent take me out and get the Powder Snow through here, and that basically sets me up. In comes Dragonair. That means we outpace the Dragonair. I'm going to go for the over and the over. The opponent does go for the catch. I'm going to go for the CMP tie here. The opponent was only 1 off the move there. There's no way the opponent could have shielded that. If they had shielded it, I would have shielded and farmed down right, so that was going to be tough for them. We do make it to 2 moves. Question is, does that Dragon Breath KO? It doesn't, and we do actually get off the second move on 1 HP in a dream. Very, very close match right there. And just again, perfect over farming and a perfect CMP tie right there. The criticisms of this comp, being the Vigorove comp and just being kind of a boring meta, are definitely very valid. However, I really enjoy metas like this where it's all down to energy management. It means that for the most part, it's not really hard RPS like the Great League, you know, skull debuffs here and there and, you know, just hoping you get the right alignment. I love being able to farm things down, get energy leads, and that's why I've really enjoyed this comp. Energy management is absolutely key. Now, the opponent catches an Arctibax. I just have to thank the heavens above that they did not catch on Vigorove. That would have been absolutely disastrous. They farm it the whole way down with, we farm it the whole way down with Pylo, and back in comes the little crocodile. Now, at this point, guys, we're up so much energy that I can definitely get off 2 moves. Now, I think I make a big misplay in this matchup right here. We're going to watch this. I shield up the first move, which is perfectly understandable, right? I'm hoping I can get to this move in time, but the opponent's overfarmed so much. Now, I can 1-and-throw this move right here. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. I should have just CMP'd the move. I had the move sitting there, but I did not CMP it. Mamoswine does win CMP. Piloswine does as well. And I go for the catch. Like, that was just an absolute shambles, guys. Had I just thrown that move, like, I was too afraid of the catch. To be completely honest with you, I was anticipating the catch. The opponent comes into a Hakmo O. Is this still possible? We do have 2 body slams here, basically. But as you can see, you do need that counter damage. And yeah, that one mistake really, really cost us. Had I just YOLO'd the move, and they called on Hakmo O, I could have just farmed it down with Vigorove and came up with a move. So that would have been a win. I was just afraid of them catching on like a Golbat, you know, catching the high horsepower. And as you've seen, like, I made the catch on the wrong turn. I was definitely just a little bit off track, and that's just really the importance, especially at this very high ELO. You have to be 100% on track all the time. Now we're going to go for the big Poltergeist. The opponent shields it. Guys, we're not getting the Poltergeist booms in today's video. It's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. We're not getting the booms. I can promise you that there are some booms, but look at this, guys. We do have the very sought after shield advantage. Now, more often than not, guys, even though they're weak to counter in the lead, right? Even though they're weak to counter in the lead, they probably have their own Vigorove in the back. So what I'm thinking here is they're coming into Daddy Dusclops. Pretty neutral matchup. Of course, don't go into your hard counter, right? And like, you know, up on energy, you don't want to go into the Vigorove mirror. So I decide here, alright, I want to guarantee that no matter what, I'm going to just counter this down a little bit, right? Put this into avalanche range, and I'm going to actually bank just an absolute ton of energy on Vigorove here. These ice punches are not threatening whatsoever, and I have no need for any more charge moves whenever it'll only take 1 more move to KO. And if they swap out into their own Vigorove, I'll have such an energy lead that, you know, it wouldn't really be that great for them at that point. Now we do go straight for this move. That would have been a CMP tie on the potential return, I believe. And they do come into the Piloswine once again. Now fortunately, we do win CMP. So that is a pretty huge detail in this matchup. Had I lost CMP, maybe this would be completely different. The opponent has a very, very good Mamoswine by the looks of things. And we're going to go straight for this move. I decided, like, if they catch, they catch, right? And actually, I was on my 5 cycle right there. So I was going to outpace by 1. They come into this thing. So I'm pretty happy I banked all that energy. We do go for CMP tie once again on this avalanche. You know, it is tempting to go for good timing, but at a certain point, you have to realize I just need to get the damage off. We have, you know, as you've seen before, 2 rock slides banked. I don't do the 1-and-throw, absolutely unnecessary here. I don't want to mess it up and take a volt switch and somehow get taken out. I do live a volt switch from there, but no point in risking it, and that's a good game. So yeah, that's what these matches, a lot of these matches all come down to. In this comp, I've never felt like, oh, I'm just getting hard countered. And I think that's because I'm using Daddy Dusclops in the lead. And I'm using, of course, Vigorove, which is on basically every team. Now here we go. Does the opponent shield? Do they respect it? What are they going to do this time? I find at higher elos, people tend to not respect moves as much if they know that they live it. They do live this move. And, alright, fine, Discord bot, confirmed. Everybody's using Discord bot up at this ELO, confirmed. I am joking, but that's so unfortunate. I think I've got that wrong 4 times in a row. So, you know, it's just one of those days we're not getting the right moves through. Now I'm going to come in here. I can handily eat 2 X scissors from this thing. and we're going to start just absolutely farming this thing down. I'm not going to take it the complete way, because if I did, I'd have to shield up twice, which I don't necessarily want to do here. But we're going to get an absolute ton of farm and look to go for a CMP tie here on this next avalanche. The opponent can't really shield this, and we'll see what they want to come into. They come into Vigorov. Now this is kind of what I was hoping for, because I can more or less guarantee the shield here, guarantee heavy damage. Most of their health is gone, 50% roughly is gone, and they come into a flyer. If you get an energy head start on either this thing, or of course Golbat, you're basically chilling. I could go about this one of two ways. I could try to win this matchup, invest the shield, go for the rock slides, and go for another charge move on their own Vigorov, which I think is probably the safest play, so I think that's what I go for. Or I could try to farm it down with the Pylo and go for 2 moves. I decided that would be a little bit risky. I do attempt to go for CMB higher. The opponent overfarms, so at this point it basically just comes down to fast moves. The opponent definitely was getting to a move there, so I decided to come into the Pylo and basically look to force them to for energy here. I made sure to leave myself out of counter range. They do go for underfarm, and I realize here that they're actually on 1 HP and I can knock them out through the shield. So that was a very, very nice play. By the way guys, I stream my battles in my Discord, so if you're thinking like, oh that's lucky, no it's not. I actually knew it was on 1 HP, I did call it at the time. That is a nice little mechanic to be aware of. Sometimes the opponents get super low and you're thinking, I can't throw the charge move, but if you can see they're on exactly 1 HP, you can do that. And look at this lead right here. Okay, remember I said at the start of the video? Do you remember what I said at the start of the video? There's basically no hard counter to this Pokemon. Well, yeah, I guess I lied. Chansey is pretty horrible. It is pretty horrid. I honestly don't know how people have the patience for this Pokemon, especially on Go Battle Day. The thing is, I can understand if Chansey was actually a good Pokemon, it's just not. Like, it doesn't do anything, it just stays there, it doesn't do anything, you can't even get timeout games with it. There's so many Vigorovs in this cup, why are you using this Pokemon? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, we've got a tricky situation. I do have a ton of energy, so the one good thing I done there was basically farm up 100 energy and then left. So we do go for an Ice Punch on this, and I do want to get a farm down with either Powder Snow or Hex. Yeah, I was tapping the Pylo, I was going for it, and in comes Vigorov. This is tricky. I could go for high horsepower, but that's not enough to take this out. So I do need to go for 2 avalanches here. And no guys, it's just game over, it's curtains. So yeah, I don't know why I'm even showing you this. Anyway guys, about 4 days later, we're still in this matchup. They do take us out with a Hyper Beam eventually, and yeah, we just top left. So yeah, there you go, I thought I'd throw it in. I did lose to Chansey a couple of times, believe it or not, even up at 32 or 3300 ELO. Some people are using Chansey. We do make it all the way up though, to 3354. As I mentioned at the start of the video, just so happy with that, man. And yeah, I do want to say a big thank you to everybody who's sort of helped me out when it comes to learning the game, everybody who's supported the channel, even though whenever I first started off, I was definitely not a very good player. So a big thank you to everybody. I want to say a big special shout out to Jamie Finn. He was definitely the first person who, helped coach me and stuff. It must be like a year ago at this point. Crazy how time flies, isn't it? But I think my journey on this game, it really should go to show you that, and this is just a video game, it's not important. But I think the same concept applies to everything in life, basically. We go for the Poltergeist, by the way. It just does a lot more raw damage, but, if you guys are trying to grind, like, if you guys, take this game seriously and you want to get better, keep watching your videos, man. Like, a ton of creators definitely help me out. I go for the Poltergeist here, but I get farmed down. But yeah, man, big thank you to everybody who's helped me out. It's very much appreciated. The way I got better at this game, if you guys are trying to improve, I done a ton of battles in Discord. Big shout out to Abnett. He was a legend player, who I was battling against quite a lot a couple of seasons ago. He basically just beat the shit out of me until I got better at the game. That's pretty much how I got better. Content creators like Henry, Junkus, Rise, Tactical, all those guys very, very helpful. And if you guys are looking to improve, just try to learn the fundamentals like your move timing. I think team reading is a big thing, and in videos like this I do try to share some more advanced mechanics with you guys to try to help you along, because it is quite difficult to find this stuff out. So hopefully that does help you guys out. And it's always been sort of the goal on this channel to show you my journey from the very start, right? I started off this game throwing an alignment. I only ever got to veteran and I just scraped it. I went on a very lucky run and went to veteran one season. The following season I started this YouTube channel. I was showcasing just random rubbish. I was doing like Galarian Zapdos gameplay and stuff like that, right? And here we are, about 1 year later. It's been about a year since I started this channel. We have a wonderful community here, amazing Discord community, and I feel like, I've went very, very far on this journey, and I do want to say a big thank you to everybody who's helped out. But anyway guys, after hitting 3354, I tanked 100 ELO. So to put a nice little dampener and things, we tank 100 ELO. So we're back to basically where we started, 2260, or 3260, but yeah, very, very happy with it, of course. Yeah, big thank you to everybody. Hope you'll have a fantastic rest of your day and hope you learned something. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord community in the description down below. Once again, big thank you to our members and channel supporters, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.